something happened in Brussels last night. And if your timeline looks anything like mine right now, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. Because within minutes of BTS wrapping up their second and final night at King Baudouin Stadium, clips started appearing. Quiet at first. A few reposts here. A few hundred views there. And then, almost like clockwork, it exploded. One name was suddenly everywhere. Jimin. And by the time most of us woke up this morning, half of ARMY Twitter was already trying to piece together exactly what we were looking at. So before we go any further, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because we are about to break down everything that's circulating from Brussels Night 2, what we actually know for certain, what's still being pieced together, and why this particular moment is hitting different from every other stop on this tour. Trust me, you don't want to miss where this one is headed. And while you're at it, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more ARMY who need to see this. Let's set the scene first, because context matters here more than usual. July 1st and July 2nd marked BTS's first ever concerts in Belgium. 2 sold-out nights at King Baudouin Stadium, a venue that had never hosted this group before, in a country that had been waiting years for this exact moment. This wasn't just another stop on the Arirang World Tour. This was history. Brussels joined the list of cities getting their first ever BTS stadium show this year, right alongside Madrid, El Paso, Foxborough, Arlington, and Baltimore. And if you've been following this channel, you know this tour isn't just big. It's record-breaking. We're talking about a run that's on track to become the highest-grossing tour in K-pop history, and possibly the highest-grossing tour ever by an Asian artist, period. So when I say the stakes were high walking into that second Brussels night, I mean it. Now, Night 1 already gave us plenty to talk about. If you caught our previous video, you'll remember the soundcheck fancam that had everyone melting, the one where Jungkook was caught telling Jimin, "I love you," backstage before the show even started. That clip alone racked up hundreds of thousands of views within hours. And just days before that, J-Hope posted that now infamous Instagram story from the private jet, the one showing Jimin completely knocked out, using Jungkook as a pillow on the flight into Belgium. If you haven't seen that photo yet, comment down below and I'll pin a thread with everything you need. Because these 2 moments alone tell you something important. This wasn't a group arriving tired and going through the motions. This was a group that showed up in Brussels loose, comfortable, affectionate with each other, and clearly having the time of their lives. And when BTS shows up like that, the shows tend to hit different. So going into night 2, expectations were already sky high. And based on what's been surfacing online over the past several hours, it seems like Jimin brought something extra to that stage. Now here's where I need to be completely honest with you, because this channel has always promised to give you the real story, not just the hype. The full context of exactly what happened during that moment is still coming together. What we have right now are fragments. A short clip making the rounds on YouTube Shorts labeled simply Jimin at Brussels D2 concert. A reel circulating that appears to capture part of a speech or meant from Jimin during the second night, though the complete audio and translation haven't fully surfaced yet in a form we can verify. What we can tell you is that these clips did not stay quiet for long. They spread fast, and I mean fast, the kind of fast that only happens when something genuinely unexpected happens on that stage. And look, I get it. In this fandom, in this era of split-second clips and out-of-context screenshots, it's tempting to jump to conclusions the second something starts trending. But that's exactly why I want you watching this video, engaging with it, and commenting your own theories and observations below, because the real picture of what happened in Brussels last night is going to come together piece by piece, and I want to build that picture with you, not for you. So drop a comment right now telling me if you've seen the full clip yet, and if you have, tell the rest of us what you saw. This community figures things out together, and honestly, that's part of what makes this fandom so special. Here's what we do know for certain. Jimin has carried a reputation throughout this entire tour that borders on legendary at this point. Fans and Korean media outlets alike have started calling him the Concert King all over again. A title that follows him from tour to tour because of exactly this pattern. He performs, a fancam surfaces, and within hours it's everywhere. This isn't a new phenomenon for Jimin. Go back through his history, and you'll find the same story repeating itself over and over from Busan to Los Angeles to Tokyo. His fancams don't just get views. They get obsessed over, rewatched, dissected frame by fans who insist there's something different about the way he holds a stage. Some call it his footwork. Others point to his facial expressions, the way he seems to lock eyes with the camera at exactly the right second. Whatever it is, it's consistent enough that Jimin fancam goes viral, has become almost a running joke among ARMY at this point. Except it's not really a joke, because it keeps actually happening. And that brings us back to Brussels. Because whatever is in that Night 2 clip, it was enough to cut through an already oversaturated news cycle. Remember, this tour has been breaking records practically every single week. By the end of May, this tour had already pulled in over $200 million from the first 24 shows alone. The North American leg wrapped with 840,000 fans across 15 shows. Industry analysts are now projecting this entire tour could clear $750 million, which would make it the first K-pop tour and the first tour by any Asian artist to ever cross that threshold. Against a backdrop like that, it takes something genuinely special to make one specific member's specific moment cut through all that noise. And based on what I'm seeing spread across timelines right now, Jimin managed to do exactly that. If you want to stay ahead of every single update on this story, this is the part where I need you to turn on that notification bell. I say this every video, I know, but this time it actually matters, because we are actively tracking this one, and we will be posting an update the second more footage or a full translation becomes available. This is exactly the kind of story that develops over 24 to 48 hours, so if you don't want to be scrolling through 15 different fan accounts trying to piece it together yourself, let us do that work for you. Subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll be the first to know. Now let's talk a little bit about what makes Brussels, specifically, such fertile ground for a moment like this. This is a member who has been through an incredibly public, incredibly emotional stretch of this tour already. Fans watched him comfort a crying fan in Mexico, taking off his own hat and having it handed down just to make her smile. Fans watched him deliver an emotional speech in Madrid that got reframed and re-examined multiple times as more context came out, a reminder that this fandom does care about getting the story right, not just getting the story fast. Fans watched his blonde hair become a full-blown cultural moment back in Las Vegas, with the Jimin braids tag trending so hard it reportedly caught international broadcast attention. So by the time Brussels rolled around, there was already a pattern forming. Every single stop on this tour seems to produce at least one moment that becomes uniquely his. Brussels Night 2 might just be the latest entry in that list. I also want to talk about why these moments hit so much harder specifically during MENT, or speech segments, because that seems to be part of what's circulating from last night. If you've followed BTS concerts over the years, you know these unscripted talking segments are often where the realest, rawest content comes from. This is where members drop the choreography, drop the performance persona, and just talk to the crowd like old friends. Jimin in particular has a history of these speeches turning into some of the most quoted, most emotional pieces of BTS concert history. Longtime fans still talk about his speech from years ago at their epilogue concert, a moment so powerful it reportedly moved his fellow members to tears while he was speaking. So when a clip starts circulating labeled as a Jimin speech from Night 2 in Brussels, longtime fans know exactly why that alone is enough to make people stop scrolling and pay attention. Let's talk about the bigger picture for a second, because I think it's worth understanding where this fits into the larger arc of this tour. Brussels wasn't just a stopover. It was the midpoint of a European run that started in Madrid in late June and is about to continue into London on July 6th and 7th, before heading to Munich and then Paris later this month. Every single one of these stops has been treated as historic in its own right, first-time performances in cities that waited years, sometimes over a decade, to finally get a BTS stadium show. And every single stop has produced its own signature moment. Madrid gave us that speech. Vegas gave us the hair. Mexico gave us the crying fan. Now Brussels appears to be giving us whatever this Night 2 moment turns out to be. If the pattern holds, and honestly at this point in the tour it usually does, we're looking at something that's going to be talked about for the rest of this tour's run. Okay, I want you to do something for me right now before we keep going. In the comments below, I want you to tell me which moment from this entire tour has been your personal favorite so far. Was it the Madrid speech? The Vegas hair era? The Mexico fan moment? Or do you think whatever just happened in Brussels is about to top all of them? I read every single comment on these videos, and honestly, Some of the best context I get for follow-up videos comes directly from you guys spotting details I might have missed. So don't just watch this video. Talk to me. Talk to each other. That's genuinely how this channel works best. Now, a word of caution here, because I think it's important, especially given how quickly information moves in this fandom. Whenever a clip like this starts spreading before the full context is available, there's always a risk of misinterpretation. We've seen it happen before on this very tour, moments taken out of context, edited clips circulated with misleading framing, reactions built on partial information that later turned out to be incomplete or flat out wrong. So while I absolutely want you invested in this story, and I absolutely want you sharing your reactions, I also want to gently remind everyone watching to wait for full context before drawing hard conclusions about exactly what was said or what it means. That's not me trying to kill the excitement. If anything, I think the full picture, once it comes together, is going to be even better than the fragments we're seeing right now. Good things are worth waiting a few hours for. With that said, let's talk about what to expect next. Concert footage from official channels, whether that's Weverse, fan-uploaded multicams, or eventual official Bigot release, tends to surface within a day or two of a show, sometimes faster depending on how quickly fans in the venue manage to upload and translate everything. Given how fast this particular clip has already been spreading, I would honestly be surprised if we don't have full context, a clean translation, and probably several breakdown videos from bigger channels within the next 24 hours. When that happens, we will be right here with a full follow-up, breaking down exactly what Jimin said, why it's resonating so hard, and how it fits into everything else we've seen from him this tour. But here's the thing I want to leave you with today. Regardless of exactly what ends up being in that full clip, the fact that it's spread this fast, this hard, within hours of the show ending, tells you everything you need to know about where Jimin is at right now on the stage, in this era of BTS. This is a member who has spent this entire tour quietly reminding everyone why he's carried titles like Concert King and Trending Emperor for years. Every stop seems to add another chapter. Brussels Night 2 just became the newest one. And honestly, isn't that part of the magic of following this group in real time? You never quite know which night is going to be the one everyone's still talking about a week later. Sometimes it's the big pyrotechnic moment everyone expects. And sometimes, like it seems to be the case here, it's something smaller, something quieter, a speech, a look, a single moment that nobody saw coming until suddenly it's everywhere. If this video helped you catch up on everything circulating from Brussels Night 2, do me a favor and share it with at least one fellow ARMY who might have missed it. This fandom moves fast, and sometimes the best way to keep everyone on the same page is just passing information along to the people who need it. And if you haven't already, seriously, subscribe and turn on that bell. We are staying on top of the story as it develops, and I promise you the follow-up is going to be worth the wait. One more thing before you go. Drop your predictions in the comments. What do you think this Brussels moment is going to end up meaning once the full context comes out? Emotional? Funny? A callback to something from earlier in the tour? I want to see your guesses before the full story drops, because it's always fun to look back and see who called it right. Let's figure this one out together, timeline meltdown and all. Thanks for watching, ARMY. Like this video if you're just as curious as I am about what actually happened on that Brussels stage last night. Subscribe if you want to be first in line when we get the full story. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully with every single detail from Night 2 finally confirmed.